You found it. Your home for the best content on your favorite team, the Fighting Tigers of LSU. Do us a favor, subscribe to the channel, leave your comments below, and be sure to smash that like button. So LSU beats Kansas 34-31 Saturday night in Tiger Stadium. I, for one, make this solemn vow to you that never again will I ever mention where on the calendar the LSU-Arkansas game is played. Because it doesn't matter if it's the Friday after Thanksgiving, if it's the Saturday after Bama, if it's in September, or if they play it the day after Christmas, Flag Day, Columbus Day. It don't matter because LSU is going to get Arkansas's best swing. That's just the way it is. 4 consecutive years this game has been decided by a field goal. The most recent iteration, Tigers were a 17.5-point favorite and needed to run a 5-minute offense to perfection, which they did at the end of the ball game to hold off an upset-minded Razorbacks team. But the Tigers clear that hurdle, and it's on to the next. It is a bit odd, though, because that game, for much of it, was almost an exact replica of the LSU-Florida State game in reverse. Think of it. Arkansas in the first half had 2 possessions where they got inside the 10-yard line and came away with field goals instead of touchdowns. Now, LSU against Florida State got no points, but you went to half in a 13-10 ball game thinking, man, if Arkansas was a bit more opportunistic, it could have been much bigger. And then, obviously, in the second half, Arkansas didn't get a single stop against LSU like LSU didn't get a stop against Florida State. So it was odd because it was a similar path of that game in reverse. But I think what we are learning with this LSU team is their recipe. What this team's recipe for winning is going to be when LSU dictates terms, this is how it's going to go. You have an elite offense that's going to be able to move the ball and score on darn near everybody. And you have to have an opportunistic defense against a weaker SEC. So LSU, they find themselves down in this ball game, 6-0. Bring it within a field goal, 6-3. You're thinking there before half, hey, get a stop, and then score at the end of the first half, and then you get the ball to start the second half. You can kind of take control. And kind of the opposite thing happened. Arkansas went to put together a nice touchdown drive. That's when they had the pass interference that was called and picked up on the review on Denver Harris. And Arkansas goes up 13-3. LSU gets the ball with 48 seconds before half, down 13-3. Boom, boom, boom. 3 plays, 49-yarder to Brian Thomas. It's 13-10. You get the ball to start the second half. Boom, boom, boom. 3 plays, 49-yarder to Brian Thomas. Again, it's 17-13 LSU. And I thought this was the biggest sequence of the ballgame. This was the biggest sequence of the ballgame. LSU's leading 17-13. Arkansas gets the ball, and they are moving right down the field. And they have a 4th and 2. They call a timeout. They come out with their field goal unit. They fake it. They get the ball down to the 11-yard line on the fake. Mekhi Wingo comes up with a big tackle on KJ Jefferson on first down. Whit Weeks flushes KJ on second down. Wingo ends up getting the sack. And on 3rd and 16, Deshaun Womack got a sack, which forced the field goal, which they made, but LSU maintained the lead. Tigers get the ball back. They go right down the field. Touchdown Malik Neighbors. It's 24-16. LSU's up 8. I kind of exhaled there thinking, all right, well, this is where LSU takes command of the game. Only on the ensuing possession, Zy Alexander had a total brain fart, forgot his guy, decided to chase KJ Jefferson, and then gave up a 59-yard touchdown, and it was game on. So, and nobody got a stop the rest of the way until the very end of the game where Arkansas flat ran out of time. KJ Jefferson's he was intercepted by Zy Alexander. But that sequence where you at the start on Arkansas's first possession of the second half, where they had a red zone possession, you pushed them back after the fake field goal, forced a field goal attempt, so you maintain your lead, and then scored to go up 8. That really was the sequence that was pivotal in this ball game. Couple of things, and Brian Kelly talked about this as well. Salute to the LSU red zone defense. Arkansas got to the LSU 1-yard line, 5-yard line, and 11-yard line, and the defense forced them to kick field goals. I don't think this defense, anybody is going to confuse them with the 85 Bears or the 2011 Tigers. This is just a defense that is, we hope, will find itself and improve as the season goes along, but it's a defense that's going to have to be opportunistic, meaning force turnovers, and when you get red zone possessions, force threes instead of sevens, and let the offense pick you up. It's just going to be this team's recipe. I've mentioned that scenario where after the fake field goal, that sudden change right there, which can be deflating, your defense went right back out there and commanded the line of scrimmage and pushed them backwards and forced a 40-yard field goal. So I thought the red zone defense for LSU was good enough. I'll put it to you that way. I mean, listen, Arkansas converted all of their red zone chances in this ballgame. So it's not like you got stops in that respect, but they were 5 for 5 in the red zone, but you forced 3 red zone field goals, which was a big part of LSU's ability to win that game on Saturday night. Salute to Jayden Daniels, who today, if you missed it, was named the SEC Offensive Player of the Week. And boy, it did not start good for Jayden Daniels. The first play of the game was a misfire on a pass. On the third play of the game, he threw a ball low to Malik Neighbors where Malik came up looking like he had hurt his shoulder. And then on the next drive, he throws an interception. It was not good early. But a sign of a great player is when you can get it together, and Jayden more than did that, clearly. On a day where he wasn't his best in the first half, still ends up the SEC Offensive Player of the Week. 20 of 29 for 320, 4 touchdowns and a pick, completed 69% of his passes, a QBR of 200.3, and that was on a bad day. I mean, he's incredible. He's an incredible player, and he is by far the best quarterback in the SEC. I don't think that's even debatable, and it's why LSU has a chance to win every game it plays. I know there's a lot of frustration today about the defense, and I share that frustration with you. I don't know how it improves. Let me rephrase that. I don't know how you get from where you are to being elite. That's not going to be in the cards for this team. The personnel won't dictate it. And I know there's a lot of people criticizing Matt House. Here's the thing. You've made just about every personnel change you can make. You went from, in that first week, really just using Mekhi Wingo and Mason Smith to now you're rotating Jordan Jefferson and Jacoby and Guillory. We saw Paris Shand on the interior. We saw in certain nickel packages where they go to Deshaun Womack at that left end. They kick Savion Jones inside. They got Harold Perkins at the nickel Sam role as opposed to off-ball backer where he was playing in week 1. They've inserted Greg Penn and Whit Weeks. We've seen Denver Harris at corner. We're seeing Riot Yates at free in dime packages. They've done just about everything they can do with the personnel they have. Now, it's just a matter of how much better can this personnel grouping get? How much more comfortable can they get in the defense? How much better can they play? That's kind of it. The cavalry isn't on the way. There's nobody else coming. What you have is what you have, and so you just have to keep getting better and understand where we started was how you're going to have to win games. Be opportunistic on defense. Score a bunch on offense. Before this season started, we sat here and I went through the pass defense rankings of all of the national champions in the college football playoff era. And there's only 2 that have been in the top 15 in the country, defensive and pass defense. The bottom line is you don't have to be elite defensively. What you have to be is elite offensively. And this team is. Can they be good enough defensively is the big question. They got a long way to go. One other salute. How about a salute to Damian Ramos? And I'll say Ramos because we talked about it last year. He had a pinned tweet on his account where he said, hey, this is Damian Ramos. The kid calls himself Ramos. I'm calling him Ramos. 2 of 2 on field goals Saturday. 4 of 4 on PATs. Damian Ramos, through 4 games, has not missed a kick. 5 of 5 on field goals. 21 of 21 on PATs. Jay Bramblett has been inconsistent. Your kick coverage has been inconsistent. Your return game hasn't been what we hoped it would be. You muffed another one against Florida State, we all saw. The most steadying presence on special teams so far has been 34. And the good news is, as a redshirt sophomore after this season, he's got 2 more years of eligibility if he wants it. He's been literally perfect through 4 games, has not missed a kick. Salute to Damian Ramos. Really well done. I'll say again today what I said a week ago and what I'm probably going to say every week heretofore. Every game on this schedule for LSU is winnable. LSU's a 2.5-point favorite against Ole Miss coming up this weekend. Could you lose at Ole Miss? Absolutely you could. Sure, Lane Kiffin could dial up a brilliant game plan. They could score 40 and you could lose. That could absolutely happen. Can you go to Oxford this weekend and win? You're damn right. And the same can be said for every game subsequent. Just keep clearing hurdles. Just like a sprinter. Just jump over the hurdle. Just don't clip your heel on a hurdle and stumble. It's the SEC. There are landmines everywhere, but you have a map of where they are. You've just got to be locked in and go out, play your best week in and week out. If you do, this team can have a lot of special, meaningful things to be playing for in November and hopefully December, January as well. Tigers get a scare, but they get past Arkansas 34-31, 2-0 in the SEC and leading the SEC West through 4 weeks. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.